The Mind Stone is the fourth of the Infinity Stones to show up in the last few years. It's not a coincidence.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 MCU abandoned storylines.
In accordance with Executive Order 396B, all post-battle cleanup operations are now under our jurisdiction. Thank you for your service. We'll take it from here.
You know, the question I get asked most often is, Tony, how do you go to the bathroom in the suit? Just like that.
I have someone who'd like to meet you.
Okay. It's Mr. Blue, isn't it? Mr. Green?
For this list, we'll be going over the storylines and plot points which the MCU seemed poised to continue, only for the franchise to drop them or have them fade into the background. If there's an abandoned MCU storyline you feel we abandoned, please let us know in the comments. Number 10. The Collector's Collection of Infinity Stones. Avengers Infinity War. Although a seldom-seen character, Tanelier Tavon, better known as the Collector, is a prominent part of the Infinity Saga, due to his interest in collecting important artifacts.
I present to you Tanelier Tavon, the Collector.
The most notable parts of his collection are easily the Infinity Stones. The Collector manages to obtain the Reality Stone from the Asgardians, while he hires mercenaries, including the Guardians of the Galaxy, to obtain the Power Stone.
Beautiful. Beyond compare.
Even though he loses the latter, one would think that Tavon would continue in his quest to collect all 6 stones. However, as Thanos was also aiming to get them all, the Purple Titan's efforts probably took priority.
I know you have the Reality Stone, Tavon. Giving it to me will spare you a great deal of suffering.
He certainly seemed to have killed the Collector during his rampage across the universe to obtain them. Number 9. Damage Control. Spider-Man Homecoming. Damage Control is a company charged with doing cleanup duty on messes left behind by superheroes and other supernatural events. Their most prominent appearance is in Spider-Man Homecoming, where their intervention in the cleanup after the Battle of New York prompts Adrian Toomes to start down his path towards becoming the Vulture when they steal his contract.
I'll tell you what. Let's keep it. The world's changing. It's time we change too.
Peter Parker also gets trapped in their vault. Plans were in place as early as 2016 for Damage Control to receive its own TV series. However, they continually fell through.
If you bring Damage Control or the Avengers down here, we're through.
At this point, it looks like the damage to Damage Control's chances of appearing in the MCU is too much to rectify. Number 8. Tony Stark's PTSD. Iron Man 3. Tony Stark has several character traits and behaviors that kind of fall by the wayside during the franchise. For instance, his alcoholism isn't really addressed after a certain point.
You gotta be kidding me.
But one of the most jarring is his post-traumatic stress disorder. In Iron Man 3, Tony experiences severe anxiety and panic attacks resulting from the trauma he experiences during the Avengers.
How did he get out of the wormhole?
Wait a minute, Tony. What are you saying? Tony.
Sorry. Just check out the suit.
While it is possible to manage PTSD symptoms to the point where they don't recur for years, Tony puts himself into dozens of dangerous and stressful experiences following Iron Man 3. One would think that at least one of them would have led to a relapse or new trauma. Number 7. Thor's Search for Infinity Stones. Avengers Age of Ultron. The second Avengers film sees Thor have a vision of the Infinity Stones.
You're a destroyer, Odinson. See where your power leads.
He also seemingly resolves to hunt for the rest of the stones at the film's conclusion, despite knowing the location of half of them already. Thor's whole storyline in Age of Ultron seemed geared towards him looking for the stones, but it was basically dropped in his next appearance.
You think you could find out what's coming?
I do. Besides this one, there's nothing that can't be explained.
In the very first moments of Thor Ragnarok, Thor claims that he went looking for them, couldn't find them, and gave up.
And I went searching through the cosmos for some magic, colorful Infinity Stone things. Didn't find any.
And sure, the Soul Stone was hidden and Doctor Strange had the Time Stone, but he should have easily heard that the Power Stone was on Xandar. It was a big deal. We'd have loved to see Thor meet the Nova Corps. Number 6. Vijay Nadir, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Vijay Nadir is the brother of a senator, Ellen Nadir.
Who is he?
Classified. Agent Simmons, we're not worried about who he was. We want to know what he'll become.
Both of them despise superpowers and aliens. Unfortunately, Vijay experiences Terrigenesis as he carries the Inhuman gene. Vijay's transformation takes longer than normal, and once he's out of his cocoon, his powers only activate when he's under threat. His sister ends up fulfilling a promise they made to each other and shoots him, dumping his body out of a helicopter into the ocean. However, Vijay's body becomes encased in a cocoon once again underwater, hinting at his survival. Fans kept expecting Vijay to resurface throughout the rest of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but he never did. Number 5. Luke Cage, Harlem's Kingpin. Luke Cage. Luke Cage may be bulletproof, but he still has difficulty cleaning up the streets of Harlem as one man alone. By the end of his show's second season, he finds more success, but it's due to him being more willing to walk the line between the right and wrong sides of the law. He essentially becomes a crime boss in all but name.
There's a new gangster in town.
I prefer sheriff. Diplomat, maybe.
Sadly, the show was cancelled after season 2, meaning that we never got to see how Cage developed in this role. Did he go too far? And how would anyone stop him if he did?
But now crime is the new crave, so it's a new crusade, so salute the Luke Cage.
Although Cage cameoed in Jessica Jones afterwards, this story deserved to be fleshed out in full. Number 4. The Sokovia Accords, Captain America: Civil War. The Sokovia Accords enact oversight on superhero activity, particularly internationally.
It states that the Avengers shall no longer be a private organization. Instead, they'll operate under the supervision of a United Nations panel.
They also act as one of the catalysts for the Avengers splitting apart. However, following their initial appearance, they don't really come up as often as you'd think. While they were brought up and played a role on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the films largely ignored them.
The Sokovia Accords are law of the land now. He's concerned you may have some undocumented enhanced assets working for you.
And why would he think that?
Because he's not a moron.
The Avengers who refused to sign had no apparent problems after Infinity War. Spider-Man did hero work in Europe with little to no issue. Even Sam and Bucky's international intrigue in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier got them little more than a slap on the wrist.
When Steve refused to sign the Sokovia Accords, you backed him. You broke the law and you stuck your neck out for me.
For as much sense as they make logically, the Accords do limit what heroes can do, and that's not cinematic. Number 3. Arms Race for Iron Suits, Iron Man 2. The second Iron Man film sees Tony Stark attend government hearings on sharing the technology behind his suits with the government.
My priority is to get the Iron Man weapon turned over to the people of the United States of America.
Well, you can forget it. I am Iron Man. The suit and I are one.
They make the argument that other countries are working on similar technology and could be a threat if he doesn't turn over the tech.
Yeah, I'd say most countries 5-10 years away.
Hammer Industries 20.
While Tony illustrates how behind his own suits other nations are, he still faces a threat later in the film from Ivan Vanko and Justin Hammer, who team up to make powerful drones and suits that nearly match his own.
Well, long term, I want them to put me in the Pentagon for the next 25 years. I want to make Iron Man look like an antique. I want to go to that Stark Expo. I want to take a dump in Tony's front yard. You know what I'm talking about?
And following this film, no other countries appear to have created their own Iron Man suit. This seems odd, considering how invested real-world nations are in getting the latest weapons. Number 2. Hulk's story arc, Avengers Endgame. The Hulk comes a long way during the MCU. He begins the franchise as a barely coherent green rage monster. However, thanks to interacting with characters like Black Widow and Thor, he forms his own identity. He then spends years on Sakaar, becoming independent and almost like a child. He also experiences his first brush with fear after being defeated by Thanos. However, by the time we pick back up with Hulk and Banner in Endgame, they've become one person, with Banner being the dominant persona.
I know, it's crazy. I'm wearing shirts now.
Yeah. What? How? Why?
It feels like Marvel cut out the culmination of Hulk's story arc and just left us with the wrap-up. While we enjoy Professor Hulk, the way the MCU introduced him doesn't feel as satisfying as it could have been.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. The Leader, the Incredible Hulk. A lot of elements from the only Hulk film in the MCU got dropped after its release. Although at least one character has since reappeared, one plot element from the movie that didn't get paid off involves the character Samuel Stearns.
Look, I've always been more curious than cautious, and that served me pretty well.
A scientist who both aids Bruce Banner in searching for a cure and helps create Abomination. Stearns is exposed to some of the gamma-irradiated material in his final scene, causing his head to distort, seemingly setting him up to become the villain, the Leader. Although the comics see Stern taken into S.H.I.E.L.D. custody, we have yet to see him or his supervillain persona return on screen.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.